A Time for Change. Chapter 3. Dad's News and Slamming Doors. Like all high school students, Amari always looked forward to Fridays, but they were her favorite day of the week for more reasons than just being the end of the school week. For one thing, she could procrastinate without guilt on her massive piles of homework since there were 2 extra days to complete her assignments. Occasionally on Fridays, she and Jackie went shopping in Mattapan Square's wacky mix of stores. They usually had to window shop at Grant's department store because they didn't have enough money to buy anything. But a few months ago, Amari had brought the birthday money from her grandmother and aunts and bought herself a lime green and yellow dress with cap sleeves. That day, she felt as rich as the white ladies as she carried her shopping bag home. She wore that dress to church many Sundays with her favorite patent leather shoes her mom had bought her at Grant's. On this Friday afternoon, Jackie needed to go to Gretzky's Five and Dime to pick up some Prel shampoo for her mother. Jackie loved the way it smelled, but Amari was fond of its bright green color. Jackie also added a fuchsia Maybelline lipstick to her shopping basket. Amari raised her eyebrows at Jackie. "Who's that for, Jax?" "Me, silly. I'm 14 and a half. I like this color, and I have enough money from babysitting those dreadful Williams kids last weekend." Jackie's eyes crinkled at the edges, and she was trying hard not to grin like the Cheshire Cat. Jackie was obsessed with her mother's beauty projects and couldn't wait to wear makeup herself. "It is a nice color for sure, but I thought your mother said you had to be 16. Amari was a stickler for details, much to Jackie's chagrin at the moment. Amari couldn't wait to get her own beauty products either, but she worried she'd get caught if she ever brought some home without permission. "Yeah, well, I can always play around a little when she's not home, right?" Jackie's smile faded a bit. She'd been excited about buying the lipstick, even if it was against her mom's rules. Amari felt a little badly that she'd blurted out what she was thinking. Maybe she was feeling jealous. As they walked out of Gretzky's, the wind was picking up, blowing the snow all over the sidewalks. It looked as if they were trapped in a snow globe. Neither of the girls wanted to walk any farther than necessary. Since Mattapan Square was about the same distance from each girl's house, the girls each headed their own way after Jackie made her purchases. "See you on Monday, Jax." "Bye, Mari. Have a good weekend." Jackie quickly crossed the street and started making her way home. 15 minutes later, Amari dumped her book bag in her room and changed out of her school clothes. She was excited about Fun Friday. Every Friday night, the tradition was for Amari and her mother to take the trolley into downtown Boston to meet Amari's dad after work. They had several favorite places to have dinner, depending on the weather and what kind of food they were craving. Amari was trying to guess which restaurant they would select that evening. 10 minutes before she and her mom were supposed to catch the trolley into town, the phone rang. "Who was that on the phone, Mom?" "It was your father, baby. He says to stay home tonight because he has some news." "Did he say what news?" Amari's curiosity was piqued. Dad loved their Fun Friday tradition. "No, I guess we'll just have to wait and see." About half an hour later, Dr. Johnson came through the door. He kissed Mrs. Johnson softly on the forehead. "Hello, beautiful. I'm sorry if I fouled up the Friday night plans." Amari's mom looked nervous. "It's okay, Lamar, but I didn't have time to make a proper meal. I can make something quick, like breakfast for dinner." "Can we get takeout, pretty please?" Amari suggested, batting her lime eyelashes at her parents. "Great idea, love. Sandra, Amari, and I will go get some takeout and bring it home. Don't stress about it. I was the one who changed the plans." Dr. Johnson quickly changed out of his suit into casual clothes. Then he and Amari headed out. Walking along the snow-dusted Mattapan streets, Amari tried to encourage her father to share his Fun Friday breaking news, but he wouldn't budge, teasing her that she would need all her mental energy to make a food decision. Amari smiled at that. She loved getting takeout since it was a rare treat. Mrs. Johnson was a terrific cook who believed that ordering out was not as good as a home-cooked meal, which was probably true. Passing by a Walker's restaurant, she was very tempted to get fried chicken, biscuits, and buttermilk mashed potatoes. Then she thought about stopping in the local delicatessen and getting roast beef subs and coleslaw. But after much deliberation, she finally settled on Chinese food. The pork fried rice, chicken strips and chopped suey at China Pearl smelled incredible. She and her dad waited at a little plastic table for the 15 minutes while the food cooked, since it was too blustery to walk around the block without freezing cold. They played hangman on paper napkins to pass the time. Amari walked at an extra fast pace on the last few blocks, partly so that the food didn't lose all its heat before they got it home. Outside of Linda May's bakery, Amari put in one last request. Can we surprise Mom with a cherry pie from here, Dad? She knew her mom was a huge fan of Linda May's desserts, but never bought them for herself. That's a nice idea, Amari. Why not? They dashed into the shop and grabbed the very last cherry pie just before Linda May switched the sign on the bakery door to read closed. Initially, there was very little conversation among the Johnson family around the dinner table, just the happy sighs of contented eaters thoroughly enjoying their food. After the main course was consumed, Amari's dad raised his water glass and clinked it with a spoon like they sometimes did at wedding receptions. Attention, ladies, I have an announcement to make. I have just received word that Shaw University's medical school has offered me a job. Mrs. Johnson gasped. Really, Lamar? Wow, that's some news indeed. Congratulations! She quietly dished each of them up a generous slice of Linda May's luscious-looking pie. Amari looked like a squirrel trying to decide if she should run back to the sidewalk or rush to beat the car heading toward it. What? I'm confused. I didn't know you applied for a new job, Daddy. Is Shaw in Boston? I haven't heard of it before. Amari's parents glanced at her. Not exactly, love, her dad said. Shaw is in Raleigh, North Carolina. What? North Carolina? When did you apply for this job, Dad? Amari was seriously flustered. Her voice got louder, her pitch higher. You're not going to take that job, are you, Dad? I thought you hated the racism when you were growing up in Georgia. You couldn't wait to move north. Every time we ever go to visit your sisters, you complain about the colored-only signs and all the Jim Crow laws. Amari, don't disrespect your father. This is not your decision, her mother gently chided. Dr. Johnson took off his glasses and put them gently on the dining room table. He rubbed his fingers over his eyes for a moment before speaking. I understand that this must come as a shock to you, Amari, but I did not think it made sense to tell you about a job that I might or might not get before a decision was made. Hear me out for a minute, please. Shaw University has a very prestigious medical school. This position would allow me to educate the next generation of Black doctors. We need more well-trained doctors, especially in the South. Also, you know your Grandma Rose is getting older and becoming more and more frail. This new job would bring us closer to extended family. I know your mother misses her sisters in South Carolina as well. Amari picked at her pie, certain that there was steam coming out of her ears. I have lived my whole life in Mattapan, and all my friends are here. Every time we go south in the summer, it's so hot and sticky. I hate the stupid segregated parks, pools, movie theaters, everything. Tamara got to live here until she went to college. I'm not leaving, she bellowed. She sprinted up the stairs and slammed her bedroom door.